Our freshman year, we saw an incident that just changed us for life because this dude was, the drink station where basically.
Yep.
The dude walked around, turned around a little too fast and hit a slip, but it was a long slip, yo.
It was like,
one of those.
Yeah,
he did the cartoon joint.
Yeah, he did the cartoon joint.
He finally fell, and then he sat at me and Zoe's table. I couldn't even eat my food.
Like, man, get up, man. Go.
Yo, literally.
That's when you gotta get up and walk away.
You're now tuned in.
You are now tuned in.
To
the Juxtaposition Podcast.
What's going on, yo? Welcome to episode 14 of the Juxtaposition Podcast, aka the Extraordinary Nobodies, aka the Starting Five, aka Four Hubbies and Impossible. My name is Var, because I never say my name ever. Here with James, KV, Alonzo, and Cleveland. How your brothers feeling?
Good.
Feeling good.
James, I know that. Sorry, Moneybag, yo.
This guy.
I wanna start
Peloton,
with,
man.
Hey. I thought we agreed to keep that under wraps.
Nope.
What's going on with you, bro?
Nothing much, man. Just my week was cool. It was just a normal week at this point. Working back at my previous job for right now. Again, as I mentioned, so I start the new one. So nothing really different there. Just dealing with stuff that I'll keep off the podcast in terms of work. But I mean, it's just same old that, chilling with the wife, as we were talking about earlier, trying to eat a little bit healthier, work out a little bit more. But I got to find that dedication to remain consistent. It's always hard when you're trying to, do better to be consistent, but I got to find that in my mind to do right.
I'm gonna tell everybody that I just gave James a compliment, told him that he looking slimmer. He neglected to accept it. He rejected it.
It's the lighting, man. It's just the lighting and angles. You gotta work them. You gotta work the angles.
I mean, I feel you. Maybe we can go to Kev, because Kev, how can we stay consistent, bro? Like, it's not an easy thing. Is it a mental block? Like, what is it that kind of helps, that hinders people from staying consistent when they're on their fitness journey?
Consistency, I think, is motivated off of success and what you're really familiar with. And days when you're unmotivated are the days when you want to make it as easy as possible for the reward mechanism thing to work out for you, to be able to say that you did it. And it's like if you feel like working out, but you don't feel like really working, you go for a power walk for 20 minutes, you did something. And that actually motivates you the next day to want to do more, because it's almost like not getting the full slice of a cake. Like, you only just get a taste of tease, and that tease is going to turn into something kind of more of increase your appetite, so to speak. So consistency relies on sustainability, which is push yourself when you feel like pushing yourself. Days when you don't really feel like working, don't do anything, or do something else, or do something really light. Don't create the stress for yourself that you have to do something. As long as you're thinking about it, you're in action of it in a small way, big way, you're still being consistent. It doesn't have to look like the same result, or it doesn't have to be the same type of workout yesterday for you to say that you're consistent,
I mean, you know what? I remember working out with Kev back in the day, and it was light, it was nothing, or going hard. It was no medium. I was like, Kev, I'm tired. So
yeah,
I feel like, number one, is dope that you are taking not just working out, but you're going to the physiological methods in terms of what makes working out something and bigger in terms of physical, public health. But also you live and breathe this stuff. Even that breakdown was damn, I want to work out now. I'm gonna go for a power walk right quick.
That's because when I try to work out and I try to get in that mindset, I'm gonna go hard, and for 2 weeks I go hard. I eat right. No cheat meals. I go to the gym. I go hard, and then I'm waking up the next morning. I can barely walk. Can't lift my arms. Chest is killing me, and I'm like, man, forget this shit, bro.
You're not
too fast.
No pain, no gain.
It's too much too fast, and you kind of get. You lose that motivation. It starts sucking mentally. So it's I realize that now, I got to ease my way into it. slowly but surely start changing behaviors so that it do become consistent. Because when I just go all in, like cold turkey, if you will, shit don't work.
Most athletes kind of go through the same issue. I think everyone who was an athlete at some point, it's like, whatever. It's a competitive thing. Let's not just say athletes. It's a kind of competitive thing, right? If you're super competitive, then you're gonna find yourself pushing yourself extremely too hard, where your body just can't sustain that. We're not doing that every day. We're not as young as we once were, so we have to really be mindful of listening to your body, number one. And days, like I said, days you don't really feel like it. Those are days you go for walks, power walk.
One question I have, one more question on this topic. Kev, how do you feel about cheat meals?
I think there's twofold. So if you're asking me as a Kev or you're asking me as a coach, as a coach, I'm gonna say they should be implemented at least once. Some people will say once a week. I say sprinkle it. It's just like you gotta have to understand, like, you enjoy what you enjoy, and that shouldn't be taken away from you because you enjoy it. It's modesty. It's moderation is always gonna be the key. I also believe if you introduce cheat meals while you're actually being physically active, then you essentially are helping yourself burn more, because the idea of I just cheated yesterday, I need to work out, like that can kind of help motivate the physical activity portion of it. But then also keeping in mind, like, keep your cheat meals away from the house. Cheat outside. Don't cheat in the house. You know what I mean? Like,
what a way to
word up. So that's
precursor for our conversation.
Foreshadowing
for sure. Okay, my fault, Kev.
But I do want to throw out on top of the side of that. Think about this. General guidelines is 150 minutes a week. And I said this before, and that means you don't have to have 60 minutes within a clip. You can break that 150 minutes a week into 2-3 times a day. So you do 15 minutes a day, 15, 20, that's 45 minutes a day, 45, 90, 3 days a week with 15 minutes of just walking, biking, standing while you work. Like, those are things that add up to physical activity too. So, because we're such a sedentary lifestyle, and our environment so obesogenic, means it forces us to kind of gain weight. It forces us we consume more foods, we move a lot less. So you kind of have to, like, find that balance and recognizing it first and attacking it that way.
Kevin came out like the Golden State Warriors, lighting you up in the first quarter.
Gems.
I feel so much smarter now.
That'll cost $39.99 for the next time.
Word up. Y'all got lucky just now.
Nah, prices went up. I'm in Florida right now, so I got some.
Oh, he got the COVID-19 prices.
Yeah, they out here.
Shut up.
$99.99 next time. $99.
Word up. I just saved y'all life.
My bad. I ain't mean to lowball you like that, good brother.
Nah, I appreciate you. You always got that discount. They don't get the promo code.
I appreciate it.
James out here exposing the family discount.
What up?
Right, promo code Moment of Clarity. So, how about you? How was your week, bro?
It was very interesting. I spent a lot of money, and I made a lot of money and spent it at the same time. But it was a good spend. Yeah, I was like, you ever like do something good and you're glad you're doing it, but at the same time, it's like your mind and your stomach don't match, right? So like,
yes,
my mind,
like cheating outside the house, like Kev was saying.
Yeah, with food. With food. Just want to get that clear. I don't know what VAR talk about. But anyway.
I'm talking about cheat meals.
Oh, okay,
cheat meals. Yeah, cheat meals.
So like, all right. So
Hold on. Cleveland said the word in the last 5 minutes. I just want you to know that he's still here.
He's taking notes.
He's
taking notes. Nah, but so I accomplished two major goals in 1 week, right? So I like I said, I made a lot of money. I came some new stuff going on for me, and then I actually paid my car note off, right?
Hey,
my car off. Yeah. So no more car note for me.
Hello.
Right, which is I haven't done that since 2011. I've always seen that, like, that was the last time I paid a car off in its entirety without like trading it in before or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. So I I got happy about that. I traded it in. I get my title. My sister now has that car. She's in Florida with it. And it hurt my stomach to just give up all that money at one time. I was like, damn. But then, like, in my mind, the mental thing is like, that's the smart thing to do.
Right.
Increase your credit. I'm trying to buy a house. So it's like, I need to kind of lower my debt to, asset ratio, whatever. So it's like, okay, cool. And then I bought a car straight cash, homie, like Randy Moss say. So then I went and I purchased a vehicle straight cash. So now I still don't have a note. So I've never done that either, where I was in and out like the dealer within like an hour, because usually they haze you.
Yeah.
They trash your credit by all these hard inquiries, tell you no, you got 35 no's, and on 36 was like, we
success.
Got you. Yeah.
All of a sudden.
So it was like, I didn't have to deal with any of that, to be in there for 5-6 hours. I literally did put my money down, came back hours later, like, is my car clean? Put the brakes. I want some new brakes, all that good stuff. So.
You can walk through, like, did you do the seats?
Yeah, I don't see that. Why is there dust on here? Like, I had a little buying power when you got cash. You could talk smack. Like,
right. Is that black ice I smell?
Yeah. You know what? Oh, you don't want to? I'll leave. I'll just take my money. I'll leave. I'll go down the street and just buy another car cash. I'm sure they want.
Where's your black car salesman? You know what? Tell him to stop washing cars and bring his ass over here so we can.
Surprisingly, they did send me the Spanish dude, the heavyset Mexican dude, Sergio. Shout out to Serge.
Shout out to. I'm sure Sergio was eating a little better because of you.
But so then here's another thing in my week, real quick. I've noticed that, like, I understand sometimes how, like, I'm not a celebrity by any means, but like how, like, the Kevin Durant's of the world understand, like, the social media critiques and how it gets to them. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily get mad or care about anything social media unless it's like racial. Then I get my, I'll be on my Malcolm X.
You don't get mad, you get petty.
Yeah, pretty much. So I've had a few petty moments in the last month with social media comments here and there, which is pretty, I think it's cool. It's fun to me, right? But then I noticed one thing. I posted a video on some just motivation. I was feeling good. You work out. I've been posting them. I've been doing boxing training recently, right? So I posted a video of myself doing a training and my sister, we sprinting and all that stuff before she left. And all of a sudden, on both platforms, both Instagram and Facebook, everybody is now a trainer. Everybody is like, want to give me technique advice. And I'm like, yo, I don't recall seeing half the people I know for over a decade. We went to school. I never saw y'all at the rec. I never saw you in the SRC. I never see you do any intramurals. What sport have you played or done anything to critique? You all of a sudden, and what's my man?
Niggas all of a sudden Billy Blank shooting Billy
Blank. They Max Kellerman. They know, like, the boxing guru. You know what I mean? They talking like George Foreman, a retired fighter that's just commentating.
Now you're Roy Jones.
All of a sudden, they Roger Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? They just, everybody, yo, twist your elbow, use your hip. Like, yo, bro, I'm chilling. This is just a workout.
This is just a workout, man.
If you think that I'm going to be that lax when I have to really punch somebody, are you going to be in for a rude awakening? Because I'm never that.
So like, check my Wikipedia. I've been punching people since 2008.
Seriously, yo, like, I do this. Like, I don't understand. I was just working out, chilling, and it was 90 degrees that day. So I'm like, but where did everybody come from? I don't know if that's y'all experienced that, but me, I just was so shocked to see so many. But you know what it is? I'm not that shocked because it's me. Because I know I do be giving it up like that. So I expect it. I take it on.
Look at that reflection on air.
I say some self-reflection there, right?
I do. I know it is. People be waiting for me to, like, not to fail, because I think they're genuinely my friends, but they want me to, like,
trip. They wouldn't want you
to there you go. Slip and fall, catch a snag or something.
So they could point at you and say, look at you.
He bust his ass. They want me to step over the line when we bowling and shit. So, like,
for the listeners, Zoe has, like, a mental file cabinet of all wrongdoings of people that he knows. So everybody, you're right. It is written down and screenshotted. Yeah. You're right.
Why y'all exposing my notebook?
Hold on. That's your journal.
by date, by time, and destination. Where were we going? Where were we going? Where
we was on the turnpike. We was on the parkway.
Yeah. So. Oh, matter of fact, Zoe and Cleveland, can y'all share? This is funny. Can y'all share y'all number one fear that y'all had when y'all was at Ryder?
Falling in the calf.
Oh, falling in the calf.
Yeah, you can't fall in the cafeteria.
Because the way that Ryder University's calf was set up, it was really kind of like a legit
like a state, like a runway though.
Like a runway, so you could see what everybody was doing, no matter where you were sitting in the joint. You could see where everybody was going. And our freshman year, we saw an incident that just changed us for life, because this dude was, the drink station where basically.
Yep.
The dude walked around, turned around a little too fast and hit a slip, but it was a long slip, yo.
It was like,
one of those.
Yeah.
He did the cartoon joint.
Yeah, he did the cartoon joint.
He finally fell, and then he sat at me and Zoe's table. I couldn't even eat my food.
Like, man, get up, man. Go.
Yo, literally.
That's when you gotta get up and walk away. I'm leaving everything on the floor. I'm leaving. I'm getting up and I'm walking out the
but see, the thing is, not only that, we was laughing, right? So I'm trying not to laugh. I'm doing a shake while I try to eat. Right. And then he gonna say, guys, it's really not that funny.
We had to walk away from the table.
Oh, shit.
Why would you now? It made it more
What
funny.
do you mean? You gotta tell him, like, you didn't see you. I saw you.
Yo, we could have a whole episode about people falling. I remember we at TC&J using this huge auditorium at some program.
I was with James this one too.
It's extremely quiet. And you know how everyone's already at the program and you walk in late. So if someone walks in late and they're like trying to hurry up the stairs to get a seat and just straight fell. Just tripped over the back of their head. Came down a little bit, and I mean, I was dying.
No, that's when it's the
worst.
It was bad though. When it's quiet.
No, I'm gonna tell you this. James actually is the worst.
I couldn't hold it. I couldn't hold the laugh. I'm like, this is crazy.
To Alonzo's point, James has the most contagious and the most embarrassing laugh when it's directed at you. It's like, correct. I'm leaving. I'm going home. If James would have been there at Cleveland and Lonzo's table, that kid would have
transferred school.
That's
because James started leaning on. He started falling and I'm like,
but
it's just funny.
I only mention that because I think some of those things inform Alonzo's tracking system. So when you see something super embarrassing, and it's like, damn, Alonzo saw that. So damn it, I made it.
They know I'm coming.
I'm in the file cabinet. So when people see something, they're like, oh, I couldn't. I've been praying for this day for me to give Alonzo some critique.
Yeah, they do. I've realized that. I've accepted the reality of that. I just thought it was pretty funny that all of a sudden, all these people are Emmanuel Stewart. They didn't coach Pacquiao and all this other shit. And I'm like, really? That's what we doing? I was Kevin Durant for a moment.
That's all good. It's all good. At least we hold you accountable. So we're not trying to let you go out there and go crazy.
Fair enough.
So listeners, don't attack Alonzo in the comment section because he will clap back without warning. Without warning. Cleveland, how about you? How was your week?
My week was good, man. I just been focusing on myself, really, to be honest with you.
Did you read that? You read that in the self-help book?
No.
I just
feel it, man. I just feel like, how you get to a point where you just literally feel like you got to pay more attention to yourself. Whatever that looks like. I don't know if it looks like working out or if it looks like praying or if it looks like, I don't know, going to a store and buying yourself something because you're you and you deserve something.
Treating yourself.
So I've been spending a lot more time focusing on me, trying to get some stuff together. But it's been a good week though.
Sound really zen. Real zen
ETFO, as Big Sean would say.
Yeah.
You haven't heard that?
I heard it. Yeah. For the
you were the one that commented and said that Big Sean joint was dope. I was saying, listen to it.
It's crazy.
It is. It's dope. It is dope.
What's your favorite track on there, Cleve?
Probably Wolves.
Yeah.
With Post Malone. With Posty.
Yeah. No. Harder Than My Demons. Definitely Harder Than My Demons. I take that back.
That's on brand. That's on
I
brand.
know, right?
Yeah, it is. But yo, it's like a 2-minute song, but he's going hard that entire song. It's like,
Lucky Me is hard too. Lucky Me start out real slight, and then it's like, how is he doing this? What is going on?
I like the way Big Sean approaches the track because his rhyme cadence, you never know when he's going to land. Like most people, they're going to land on the 1, they're going to land on the 4. Like you don't know when he's going to land. He just going, and then it just makes sense. Like it makes sense, like in terms of timing, and it makes sense, like lyrically. So he's a good rapper, man. He's definitely top 5.
I agree, and I think that's also on brand because one of Big Sean's ad libs is "Oh God," and like that's one of yours too. So
he got a lot of other ad libs too.
Oh God.
Yeah, I just felt like, but nah, Big Sean is slept on. He's definitely in the top tier with Cole, Kendrick, Drake, and but nah, I get down. I get down with Sean.
How was your week, Var? Oh,
me?
Kev.
Yeah, Kev. We can let Kev go.
I forgot. See, Kev got me all motivated. I forgot he ain't even.
That wasn't even his week. He was just dropping gems.
Now week was going good so far. Just take a quick staycation out to Florida, in the firing pits of COVID, but it's cool. I mean, we just been hanging out with family most of the time, so that's been interesting. I got some off-air stuff for y'all later, but it's too much right now. But other than that, we had a great time. Shout out to my sister-in-law birthday weekend, so we celebrate her.
Hey.
And so it's cool. Good vibes.
I mean, the Gram told me you was on the water. You know what I mean? On the boat.
Yeah. We hopped on something light just to get out in the water. And
what's up, man? I'm glad I have rich friends. I love
you feel me? The yacht, the yacht for the weekend.
Yachts.
The Peloton, new bikes.
James, the Peloton and the yacht are not in the same category.
Hey, man, I'm just saying that thing's expensive. I wish I can afford one. I would like one. Afford it.
You can.
I gotta make my coffee at home. I can't even afford the real Starbucks.
I'm the only broke one here.
You just told us you bought a car cash.
My bad. I said that out loud.
Yeah, you said that out loud. What do you mean?
Straight cash, homie.
Exactly. Kev, tell us about the yacht. What happened on the yacht?
It was good though. It was really good. It's just me and my wife was the only married couple on a boat with this other singles. I forgot that life was like.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, say no more. We get it. It's like, right.
Yeah.
Look at them.
Yeah.
That's awkward for a guy too.
Fun.
Very.
Yeah. All right. That's a good place to start when we get into the topic. Observations. For me, my week was dope. It was my birthday weekend, so
yay!
Having a birthday, shut up, Cleveland. Having a birthday during COVID is like interesting. I mean, Zoe, you haven't had yours yet. Well, Kev, you didn't have one in COVID either.
It was right before it.
Right before it hit. But Cleveland, yours was in COVID, right? And James was in COVID. Yeah. So it's like creative and like shout out to my lady. She really held it down. Like when you live with somebody, it's a lot. Like you don't have the time to like plan and do the things because that person's right around you all the time. So when we woke up in the morning on Friday, she was like, just sit in the room. I gotta go do my thing. And I came out, the balloons was there.
Candlelight breakfast.
Basically. Put a little candle in my smoothie. But no, it was dope. The balloons was fire. The card was like probably one of the best cards I've gotten. Because it's not about the card itself, it's like the message on the inside. Right. So like, you know what I mean? Like it really showed like some growth and like who we are as people. And I was like, damn, I'm reminded that like when we are years down the line, you're gonna be thinking like, yo, it was just me and you during a year-long lockdown, and like all the lessons that you've learned in that time. Well, for me, it's been benefiting our relationship, so I really appreciate that. But we one of my favorite things to do, if y'all can't tell from my Instagram, is go to the coast and just like take in like the breeze and like the views. I love
If
it.
it
Like,
ain't by the water, you don't want it.
Yeah, that's what I saw in the last post.
and if you go to my Instagram, like 90% of my pictures are by water. It's not by accident. It's just like I like that motivates me. The same way when I was in Jersey, looking at New York City gives me the type of like energy. It's like looking at, you know, the cliffs and the views gives me this like, I'm not rich. I know where you're about to go. I'm not. It costs nothing to drive.
So usually by the water costs, man.
It costs nothing to go and watch.
Oh, okay.
Just look at the water.
You window shop.
I did. But no, it was super dope, and I appreciate the proximity that I have to those type of amenities. And if I was to leave California, I would greatly miss like just driving an hour and a half or 45 minutes one direction and just being able to get at the coast and just chill and relax. So that's pretty dope.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So cool.
Before we get to Zoe Knows, I have a question of the week for all of you fellas. So the majority of this conversation, the topic that we're going to talk about this week is monogamy. But before you can get to monogamy, there's a lot of like, you know, you got to go harder than your demons, like Cleveland said. You got to like get right with yourself. So here's the question. Although we as men don't get credit for things that we're supposed to do, tell me about a time where you curved a woman, an attractive woman, and you wanted to come home and tell your girl, but you can't.
I mean, this is before I got married, so I don't mind elaborating on this kind of situation. So I remember a moment where, first of all, shout out to my wife because she set it up the moment and she don't even know it, right?
Okay.
So,
Wow.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you how this happened. So we was out one night. It was like club nights, greenhouse nights, right?
Oh, these were the good times.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Okay.
we were out, and we were out or whatever. And she was out with me, and there was a particular girl there that I was really cool with. Very attractive. Me and her friend were really good friends, and we were all in this group. So this is like right before my wife became like, we were together. She was living in Tampa at the time, so it was kind of like, you know, being single in love, right? Is what they call it. And she said to the girl, he likes you. Like she pointed, my wife pointed at me to tell this other girl that I like her.
Oh wow!
But my girl was low key after a few drinks, whatever. So she kind of was just like, you know, she kind of said it in a way where it's like, I could tell because you're his type, but whatever, right? So the girl thought that my wife was just my homie, just trying to put me on. You feel what I'm saying? Put me on game. So I ended up like, kind of like, you know, I had a good relationship with her homegirl, and kind of linked up. And I curved it, but I curved it for the idea that I didn't want to ruin relationships, all the relationships. You know what I'm saying? So, but the benefit to that was I got highly respected after that moment.
Yep, you get some wins, you get some street cred, you get some respect.
Got some street cred. My street cred slate is type clean for that moment because now it's like she has super respect for my wife. It's like it put things all into perspective on like what was important at the moment. And you know, I can't tell my wife that I curved, but I wouldn't go into that. She knows now. If she's watching this, she's gonna like, here it is, right? But that was the thing. Like it was just like, you know, that's what we're supposed to do,
right?
But who, you know, you don't brag about that.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at with it. And since the other three of y'all are too scared to say a time, I'll start. I'll piggyback off what Kev was saying. Not in my current relationship, but I've definitely been in relationships where it's like you at work and the cute girl is giving you some attention, and you like, you know what you could do, you know you could pursue it, but you're like, nah, I'm gonna keep it at home. And every time that I ignore or I let a compliment fly by, I'm like, I want some credit for this.
Yeah, I feel you.
I want you to know that I'm doing this for us. You know?
Yo, Var, I did do that when I was with you, but this was prior to me
Okay.
getting married. Do you remember when we were at a barbecue and some girl came up to me trying to holler? I think it was two girls. You obviously walked off and where you was at talking to whoever, and the girl came up to me and I was in a relationship at that time, and she's like, I was like, oh, she kind of cute, but I just wasn't really, the scene was just like too many people knew me, knew the situation. It just wasn't a good idea. And I was just like, nah, I'm going to just chill, be the man I'm supposed to be, right? So I literally said, oh, I'm sorry. And she's like, well, you could take my number. Like, she pretty much was the aggressor. Like, you could take my number down. Like, if, kind of like, if you keep me on reserve, put me on the bench.
You can't have no friends.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I was like, oh, nah, I don't have a phone. I don't have my phone. And then what the hell happens? My phone rings in my pocket, and I go right to you. I go, Var, yo, your phone, bro. And you looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, just take out. You know how you talk to your eyes? I'm like, yeah. And Var like, oh, all right, my bad, Joe, my bad here. And I'm like, shit. Like, yo, I should have got double credit for that just for being embarrassed.
Yo, man, I'm trying to tell you, and I know, and before we get killed, I know women go through this all the time. I understand. I get it.
Oh, I'm at that.
They go through it every day, 40 times a day.
I get it. I just feel like when I don't entertain, especially at a certain age, if I wasn't entertaining a woman who kind of fits my type and I was staying true to my relationship, I want to come home and tell my girl, like, yo, guess who I curved today?
Right.
And pull up her
Instagram.
Instagram.
If y'all, all y'all stories is about old. I mean, we could talk about old stuff, about, not who you're currently with, right?
I mean,
No,
it doesn't happen today. That doesn't happen.
I was just saying, tell me a time.
I mean, that happened all the time with the ex. I mean, that was long distance too, so it was like, she not here.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I'm good, man. That's not me. That's not me.
And I think what we're going to end up exposing is that, like, women are way more aggressive than they think they are. Like, there may be women who are listening to this who think, like, I'm not aggressive, but your friend is. And your friend is shooting her shot. Maybe she do it when you're around. Maybe she do it when you're not around. Maybe she do it on the internet. But women are aggressive, son. Maybe women are aggressive, in my experience.
I mean, my wife shot her shot with me. She hit me up, told me I was cute.
I bet you accepted that compliment, didn't you?
Yeah, sure did.
No, not right away. I left her chilling for like a month.
A month?
Yeah, that was back when I was different. I was a different person.
He was occupied.
I got a lot of attention back then. So
his Google Calendar was full. Okay.
Yeah. No, his MySpace calendar was full.
MySpace, boy, I tell you. No, women definitely are aggressive. I mean, but I think that's something that needs to be celebrated, if you will. It's okay to shoot the shot, or it's okay to be the one to ask someone out or tell someone, obviously if you're single.
Right.
Ask another single person out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's okay.
Just make sure,
that should be celebrated. Or what do you say? The new thing, we should normalize it.
We should normalize women being aggressive in pursuits of a relationship. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You don't gotta wait for us.
If that's the case, I'm gonna get divorced just so my wife could propose to me.
Whoa, that's a whole other topic we can talk about, right?
Yeah. Who proposed, right?
Would you accept a proposal?
Would I personally? I would probably laugh, but yeah.
No.
I probably wouldn't.
Oh, come on,
no.
Prince and Praise. Tell us why you would not.
Yo, to me, it's like that commitment. I mean, I'm probably old school and thinking this is not biblically based.
I said, what verse is this?
No, it's
Matthews.
Just I know what it takes. For women, it's about finding the person. For a man, it's more about timing. Like, if you knew who you were supposed to marry at 19, you probably would not be ready to marry that person.
Correct.
Keep her on ice.
A woman might be able to get married and settle down at 19 because it's about the person. It's not about the time. So, for me, if a man is not asking you, then that means the time is not right for him. So for you to ask him, you're kind of introducing some dynamics that you may not want.
You pushed him back against the wall.
That means he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Like, so,
Right.
you know, for me, I wouldn't ask anyone unless I was ready, which, you know, I did. I asked when I was ready. But if she was to ask me before I was ready,
But let me ask you this: do
I
you
won't
think that?
embarrass you in front of people. Like, if you would propose to me in
Oh,
front of
yeah.
people, I'm gonna say yes. Like, if I don't want to just throw the relationship,
We'll talk. We'll talk about it later.
but then we're gonna talk about it later. We're gonna revamp this thing. Yeah.
Yo, can I tell you two things that you said, right? So, one, my wife, we had that agreement when we were dating. Like, yo, if ever because I think we was watching something on TV, and a guy popped out the box at the Sixers game, and the girl ran off back into the locker room. And I was like, yo, if you ever do that to me, it's a wrap. Like, don't ever come back.
No,
Like,
it's
just
over.
disappear. Right. So she was like, I said, yo, just say yeah. And then we'll talk on the way home. Like, look,
Right.
you know, if anybody asks us what's taking y'all so long, mind your business. Like, whatever. But so that's one thing. And two, it's like, I don't know, yo, for like devil's advocate, do you think that sometimes, like, I do agree with the timing, because even I talk to my wife all the time, I talk smack, like, yo, if I would have known you back then, I would have bagged you. Like, you know, I'll be talking about confidence. She's like, no, you wouldn't have. Like, I wouldn't even enter stuff. I'm like, yo, please, I got you now. What you mean? I ain't changed. Like, so whatever, right? So that's my, like, the timing thing. It kind of goes for her too. But you ever think that sometimes certain people, maybe we're just different, but there are guys out there that like need a direction or need a push. Like, if a female does do that, they might be ready. They just BS and just waiting. Like, I ain't doing nothing. Just
honestly,
sitting idle.
I think there's a lot more men that we know that are like, that sit on like I got time. She gonna be here
until the time run out. They sit idle.
Yeah, but I also don't think pressure works. Like, you got to figure out what works for you in your relationship, because I've had coworkers who like always talk about like, well, yeah, he knows in a certain amount of time he got to propose to me, or first of all, you would have lost me. You would have lost me at you already. No, I don't know anything.
Right.
I'm out of here. Yeah. Like that, those expectations kind of ruin what I would imagine to be like a fruitful and happy relationship. Like, and then also, we all first generation trying to make it out here. Like, weddings, bro. I mean, y'all all married. Y'all all had to pay for weddings or pay for an engagement ring. James proposed at the Eiffel Tower. He had to call the Eiffel Tower company and was like, "Yo,
it's not the Eiffel Tower.
I'm gonna pull up." My fault. It was
on the gondola.
Venice.
It was yes,
Italy.
So we had my fault. Pardon me, brother.
Get it right, homie. Get it.
He proposed in Italy. I proposed in Little Italy, downtown.
He did though.
It was that Bryant Park. I was in Midtown. Like,
I know. I remember hiding.
Yeah.
But I say all that to say, you gotta, like, to Cleveland's point, the timing, like, you gotta have your money in order. Like, you gotta buy a ring that's suitable and that she can feel confident about going outside with all. So it's not even about timing as far as like when my heart is ready. It's when my pockets is ready too, because
definitely.
Well, what if the girl buys you a ring? I actually know that this happened to somebody.
First of all, how she get his ring size? He don't even know his ring size.
Right.
Well, the person who I know is like, they stuff be all over the place, so it's pretty easy to just grab something from or they be so heavy that the female could have easily just
the woman,
yeah, could have easily just measure the fingers. So I knew that happened to somebody that we both, like, we all know, but it was kind of weird. So I wonder, like, what if like she goes and gets the ring for you and everything?
I would feel embarrassed, even though I understand like this is a gender role thing. I'll subscribe. I would feel awkward. Like,
I would.
I'm 6'3", 230 something. How you look like proposing to me? I feel like, man, I'm too big for this.
Y'all brought up an interesting point. Why is it so much that black men tend to, generally speaking, marry later than white other counterparts?
Resources, I think.
Resources.
I think that's big.
I think like generational wealth, and like, we have the pressure of buying a home, being able to provide financially, kind of dealing with our little trauma that we may have experienced as a kid. Whereas those things, this is a generalization, those things may have been taken care of by previous generations of, let's say, white folks. But
Yeah, and
and
also
also,
moving out too soon. Like a lot of those generational cultural things is like they stay longer, get debt free, pay off whatever. We move out quick and add more debt than we
right.
should. So it's like, we so quick to get the hell out the house when
Mhm.
financially that's not really the best idea.
Yeah, it's not that
So
smart.
even when you want to
So
get
I
married, you
mean,
can't.
two things that I see that firsthand with my job in terms of like clients coming in. And obviously, whenever you're client facing job, you always have interactions and build that relationship. So they tell you about what's going on, and they'll come in and one, they need to get cashier's checks to um, make payments for their child's wedding. And I mean, it happens every day. Well, not obviously right now, but every day someone's coming in talking about how they're paying for their child's wedding, or they're getting money to give them toward down payment towards their house. And I work in a predominantly white area, and I'm not saying black families don't do that. I just don't see it in terms of where I work at. So I can speak on that firsthand. And secondly, I think for me anyway, like leaving the house early on, it wasn't so much about, economic things. It was just me wanting to change my environment. A lot of times we come from areas where we just don't want to be at. And it's not
Right.
about, I didn't have a bad home or childhood growing up. It was just, I wanted something different, right? In terms of where I lived and what I seen. So
Yep.
that's kind of why you move out. It's not even about, oh, well, I want to save money, or sometimes those options just are not there for us.
Right.
You guys think that another reason could be the aging idea? Like we tend to age at a slower rate than most counterparts. Some people disagree.
Black
Black
don't
don't
crack.
crack.
Yeah,
Oh, we gotta-
that's a slogan. That's a slogan. But do you think the ability to maintain a certain physiological
Like a youth.
appearance? Yeah,
Like we could bag them later and still look good.
yeah, like folks out here still shooting their shots like 50 looking 30 if you do
Yeah.
it right. Like you think that has some kind of another added component to we're not ready.
Yes. Everybody want to be a little player until you lose energy. Like I've heard that like if some black men kind of will try to get it all out, and like if you leave it to us to tell you when it's all out, it ain't never all out.
No.
Like I'm about 45, I'm in the game, baby.
Yeah, the old man at the club.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think we have to remove ourselves. Obviously, all four of y'all are married. And so I think that if we remove ourselves and look outside of like who we are, might have some answers. In our own fraternity, actually, we might have some answers.
Yeah, like for me, it was about financial. So I mean, I was with my wife now since I was 23, and I am now 33. So we've been together for 10 years, but
A dime.
I didn't propose. Yeah, I didn't propose until like 6 years in. And it wasn't that I wasn't ready, or I didn't know I wouldn't have been with her that long if I didn't think this was going to be something long term. But it was about financial. Like I wanted to have money to make sure that I can propose the right way and get the ring I thought she deserved and things like that. And then, make sure that I knew like within a year or so we'll have money to pay for our wedding, because no one was paying for that. Like we had to pay for that ourselves.
Well, James,
So
let me
just
ask you a
financially.
question. If you would have met her at 30, would you have waited 60 years, you think?
Probably not.
Yeah, if my financial situation was still the same way, yes. But if at 30 my financial situation was what it was at 30, then no.
Okay, that's
It
valid.
was all about, the financial. Like at 23 to like 26, 27, my financial situation changed drastically.
Yeah, because I think from 23 to 27, you were still like lower high class. You were still like
balling on a budget.
you was. So I mean, Kev, did you have anything else to wrap that part up?
I just think it's interesting. I wonder, like, I don't want to say, I think outside of financial acknowledgement or security, I think obviously, another component to that for me was, man, to be 100 with you guys, I felt I had a a God epiphany, a godly like epiphany. For me, it was I knew I always felt like she was the person I was going to marry, but I was kind of waiting for a sign, and the sign was when she asked me to go to counseling for the first time, and we weren't engaged. We were probably the only couple in our class that wasn't engaged or wasn't planning on getting married anytime soon. We just did it for the idea of let's see what we're missing. Let's see let's have some intentional conversations was the way we phrased it. Let's intentionally date, right? And I had a moment where it just made sense. Like the right words came to my ears, the right person said it to me, the right moment was kind of expressed where this is the person I'm supposed to be with, whether it's gonna be good or ugly. Like this still was at that moment. So on a faith base too, I think it's important to, kind of tap into knowing your partner inside and out, and kind of like following up from our podcast last week, having uncomfortable conversations, kind of grow the relationship. And I just thought it was interesting that most of the time it's more financial and for us, security. And also, I just want to include the faith partnership, whatever the dynamics that's also needed at the time, because you can be with somebody for years, and the relationship may have just grown to a place where it just feels secure enough to make it forever.
Yeah. The civil, it was the common law marriage was like we ain't been together forever. We don't need to spend all this money for
Our
people.
grandfather did that after my grandmother passed. He was with that lady for like 45 years and never got married.
I mean, that's how it goes. But moving on, good convo, y'all. Zoe knows.
Yes. So Zoe knows I got a couple things. Because of the mood I'm in, we're gonna start off with a little bit of rough, and then we're gonna end on a very good note. Yeah, I like to. Whenever people ask me, "Yo, you want the good news first or the bad news first?" I say, "Give me the bad news first, so I can end on a good note."
Yeah, don't give me no shit sandwich. Don't give me the good, bad, good. No.
Yeah. So here's the deal. So the first in the news, I don't know if you guys heard, but recently is like 2 more executions, I guess we'll call them. The police, one in Rochester, New York, 41-year-old Daniel Prude, pretty much on March 30th, his brother called on the 23rd. So he died on the 30th, but his brother called on the 23rd. So he called the cops to do what they're supposed to do, which is help and, maybe detain or organize. But instead, it was the video of the black dude where they put the hood on his face. There was reports saying that he.
Oh yeah, it was like snowing in the middle of the street.
Yes, and they said, oh, he had COVID and he was spitting at us or something crazy. So they put a hood over his face, which I don't know why that made any sense. But pretty much the body cam footage came out August 20th, which is crazy. Like, if this happened in March, how does it take that long to get the body camera footage? So that was one. And then there was another one on April 3rd, which was like maybe a week and a half later from the other one. This one was in Trenton, New Jersey, right? A place that we're all familiar with. And this was actually a white man, Caucasian guy, 29-year-old, died in the police custody. And the footage was released on pretty much September 3rd. Like, I don't know why it takes like 7 months to release footage, but this one, he was outside of St. Francis. That's like, in that where
I used to work there, for 4 years.
So he was out there, and they had pinned him. This video, they pinned him on the ground, and they said they're calling it a homicide because they said it was like he was suffocated as well. So like both situations, very crazy. I don't know. It's like some of this stuff it's been happening, but now the footage is coming out. All this stuff is starting to resurface. Right. So that's one thing in the news. I don't know, if y'all want to give thoughts or not. That's something that's newsworthy because it's like back to back, like right there.
I got a couple things to say about both of those. I think the first thing is like, yo, these are people, man. Like, these are actual people who are not on this earth anymore for no good reason. Like, people who are supposed to be trained to de-escalate a situation. For every story that we hear about, I'm sure that there's hundreds of more that we don't even know about. And it's my hearts and prayers go out to their families, because these are actual people, not just headlines. You know what I'm saying? The second thing I'll say is I'm really interested to see how the Trenton story plays out in comparison to some of these other stories, given that it was a white gentleman who lost his life at the hands of police custody. They're already calling it a homicide from what you just mentioned. It's very interesting, man. It's very interesting. Like, I wonder how the media is going to treat this gentleman's backstory, if they're going to villainize
Right.
the victim. I kind of wonder how that's going to play out. And I think here's a point where we can really, truly see, not that we haven't seen it before, but I think we're going to clearly see the differences in how these two situations are handled. I mean, but ultimately, man, that's a man that's no longer on this earth that should still be here in my heart, and prayers go out to his family as well.
Yeah, rest in peace to both of those gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's definitely. So now, next, I want to kind of go over quick little sports scores for you guys. Just a little segment with sports. Yesterday's scores. Yesterday, the Mets beat the Phillies. Shout out to my Mets, Q Burrow all day. Sorry, y'all Philly people. We beat them 14-1. The Yankees lost to the Orioles. Kev, you're over where you at. They beat the Yankees 5-1. So those are the two teams that, for our geographic area. Actually, the Dodgers for VAR lost 7-6.
I am not near Los Angeles.
Yeah, but you're in California. So look, I look, the Oakland A's and the Padres, all these Cali teams and the Angels played. So the Angels beat the Astros 9-5. The Padres beat the Oakland Athletics 5-3. The Rockies beat Dodgers 7-6. So that's for baseball. And then basketball last night, VAR, I know you feeling good.
I am.
The Lakers won.
Yes.
They got their get backs on the Rockets.
Brown played well.
Yes, and
by the time this released, it might be a whole different vibe. So I'm gonna celebrate right now. Series is 1-1.
Yes. Yeah, enjoy that while it lasts, because it's a tough series. So I think
it is.
This one I can see going 7. I can see
because James Harden get a foul call going to the bathroom. It's like we ain't even playing.
Word up, yo. Yeah, he shoots like literally like 20 free throws a game, which is like something not even Michael Jordan did that.
Because he falls down after that step back 3 every time.
Yes, and it does the little he plays footsie while he in the air on the way down.
Exactly.
But shout out to them. The Bucks lost. Giannis is hurt, so I don't know if he's gonna play today or not. Or tomorrow.
He had a boot on.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Boston,
it's a wrap for them anyway. It's a wrap.
Boston series is tied up 2-2. Toronto came back. They had that weird buzzer beater, and then they earned their stripes the next game. So that's a good series as well in the East. Another news story from the sports world, NBA. Steve Nash got hired for the Brooklyn Nets, and somehow that became a whole racial topic. It became a very big racial topic. I want to get you guys' opinion on the hiring of black coaches. Steve Nash to me is like Justin Timberlake. Like, yo, y'all that's one person, white person, just let him rock. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
first of all,
I feel like he's not even from the US. Don't bring that. He's from Canada.
We're not letting Justin Timberlake rock either. I need him to pay more homage. Nobody slides. That's my opinion. But for me, the Steve Nash hiring, was it random to everybody? Sure. But like when you think about you can't be too woke for this. Like, yo,
yeah.
The writing is on the wall. He was a mentor to Kevin Durant when he was out here with the Warriors. He and the GM, Sean Marks, are like tight. Like you gotta and then Kyrie is obviously a point guard. He respects Steve Nash. They've had conversations. It's like you can't be too woke for this. Like just
it's networking.
Right. It's like everything ain't white privilege. And trust me, if it was, I'll be the first to call it out.
That's a fact.
And it might just be like a good fit for that particular team versus anybody else. I don't think it's so much white privilege. And I think I think Stephen A. Smith is the one who brought up the whole white privilege thing. I think he started that conversation.
Yeah.
What he was trying to explain was that it's not about, Steve Nash, not his fault. And, for the matter, it's not the GM fault either. It's just a system that we're in. and that black coaches who rarely have that type of experience get that type of job, where you're almost guaranteed to go to the championship, or at least the Eastern Conference Finals, right? So that can position you for better jobs moving forward, or if things don't go well, you can kind of get something else because you're probably going to perform well with that type of team. So it was more about black coaches don't get that type of job, not so much that they don't get a job with no experience, but they don't get that type of job.
We don't get the layup. We don't get the layup.
I can't, like, you know, I love black people. I love us. But, like, I can't say that because Ty Lue got a chip.
But Ty Lue was an assistant coach, too, though, for a while.
But he got the look.
But remember, he was on – David Blatt was there. He was on the bench. He was coaching, coming straight from the office or coming from retirement.
Jason Kidd?
Correct.
Yeah, but he didn't have that championship team. I mean, they still not a championship team.
We talk about the layup. Like,
we
literally,
talking about
you got Durant and Kyrie. Most
of
the teams that we get, we always got to build it. We get more losses and then our leash is short. We get a short leash,
and then you don't get a second chance.
I feel like we're being
or barely get second chances.
Like, I get the broad conversation. I don't want to go too deep into this, but I think it's like we're being too nuanced. It's like we never got the job on a team where the team could win immediately and it wore green on Tuesday. It's like we've had coaches who got, like, Isaiah Thomas got a job as a GM, like, and he was trash. He was terrible.
Bro, it's for the Knicks.
Okay,
that's that. You can't even use that because Dolan.
Was he at Toronto first, or was he at?
I think he coached Toronto too. I think he was at Toronto first.
Right, and he didn't have any experience. I think that these things exist. I think that people were just shocked because I think a person like Stephen A. may hear about things that we have no idea about, and he's looking at Steve Nash like. What?
Really? Because there's think about it. What's the name? Nate McMillan just got fired, right?
Yeah.
After they gave him a contract extension for a year, but like, why did I get fired? Because we made it to the playoffs, and I have zero superstars. I got none.
Right.
So like, why is the bar set now the coach who's coaching the Bucks, his ass needs to get fired after this because you got a superstar. You have, I mean, maybe you could get a secondary, but you still have one.
You know what? I kind of get tired. I kind of get tired of people shitting on Chris Middleton because they always say like he's only an all-star because Giannis is there. Chris Middleton get buckets, bro.
He does.
He proved it yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't say. Yeah, I don't think he's a superstar though. Like for championship, I think he's a third. If you have a championship-winning team, he would be the third option.
Studies show that you can't win a championship unless your second in command or your star is balding, and Chris Middleton is balding, so he fits the criteria.
That's kind of true, though.
Tell me a championship that you've seen where one of the stars ain't balding.
Probably the old Celtics in the '80s. That's about it. Because Bill Russell still got a head of hair. I mean, from the '60s, but and then McHale and Bird still got hair. Dennis Johnson, was he losing his hair in the 80s?
He definitely was. He had the microwave ain't had no edges.
Yeah. Okay, so then you right on that. Because I'm about to say you got Shaq. He had a bald.
Yep, Shaq was bald. You got Mike. Mike was bald.
Damn.
You got. Yep, I'm trying to tell you. I mean, Tim Duncan had a head of hair, but
he ain't had no shape up there.
Manu had the roof missing.
Yes. Yo, Manu. Yeah.
My fault, Kevin. What you gonna say?
Now, I was just going to highlight a little bit about the idea of why, like people like the Shannon Sharps of the world feel, or Stephen A's feel like Black people aren't getting the same opportunities as their counterparts is because, one of the people that's on ice right now is Mark Jackson. And they think about a coach like Mark Jackson as a top candidate. And because he hasn't gotten a call yet, it's kind of like awkward. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a weird thing for Black coaches to feel because Mark Jackson's like equivalent to, I don't want to say Carmelo when he was a free agent, but damn near, like Tyler really got a lot of gas in the tank left, highly respected, but just can't get a job.
Barely got started, honestly.
Yeah,
barely.
He set that culture. He literally gave, again, like James just said, Steve Kerr got the layup like Mark Jackson did. But I respect Kerr because he always says that, like, yo, Mark Jackson got him. I just came in and Steve Kerr had an interesting trajectory because he went to Phoenix and was like the GM in Phoenix,
and like saw how to run an organization. So he's a little different for me. I mean, Steve Nash is fresh from like an advisor. So I mean, we can do this all day, but my fault. So keep.
So yeah, no, that was just no, but that's the kind of things I wanted to see, like where you guys were at with that. But yeah, so also what came out this week, Power Book 2. That was newsworthy for me, as you know, a little entertainment. I watched it. I don't know if anybody else watched it.
No, I fell asleep on it.
It was all right.
Stop being selfish.
I like to wait till like the season's over to binge.
Oh, okay. Nah, it was all right.
It's an ISO for
tell it. No, I'm just saying. Like it was good. I think y'all should watch it. I think it's fun seeing Method Man and Mary J. Some of the stars. Yeah, like
when I watched it last night, I definitely felt like I'm gonna give them a couple more seasons. They can't.
You mean episodes? A couple episodes?
Yeah. Yes, my fault.
Yeah,
no, because Method Man was like 500,000 liquid. You ain't got it.
Yeah, I was like, what was that?
Sometimes it's like
500,000.
Sometimes too, though, like they get caught in being who they are. Like I feel like that's him. Like, are we used to seeing him like that? So I laugh about it. I'm like, really? But they need. You know how when you warming up, you got to put some shots up. They need to put some shots up. Yeah,
they came out loose. I would
say episode like 4 or 5 probably be like, all right, he in rare form now.
Yeah.
It was some bad acting and Power for the entire series.
Slander.
I agree with you.
I have a hard time wanting to buy Power Book 2. I don't know if you haven't seen it at this point. I'm sorry, but after what I saw Tariq did, I just was just like, I'm having a hard time watching this guy become this next thing and how he got it. It's weird to me. It's weird.
Tariq can get beat up. That's what's confusing to me. Like we won't fear Tariq. Like, look, take it from a person who doesn't have a beard and can't grow a beard. I can see one coming. Tariq will not be able to grow a beard, and because of that, he will get beat up. I can tell you that in advance. So I don't know what Courtney Kemp and 50 are going to do when Tariq can't grow a beard in 3 seasons. They're going to mop the floor with him. So, you know, I'm just letting y'all know.
Yeah, I think too. We used to having like the gangster be like some type of yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna see what's up. So, but this is my last news topic, which is gonna lead us to. I don't know if y'all saw this, but Dr. Dre's wife is out here saying, "F the bag. I want the vault." She don't care about the bag. She's going straight for the kill. She got the golden gun on 007.
Do you have the breakdown?
Yes, I do. So she is requesting in their split, which I thought he signed a prenup, but maybe that was a rumor. But for whatever reason, it's alimony.
There's a prenup.
It's in there? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it says she wants $1,936,399 to cover her expenses, right? $10,000 a month on laundry and cleaning, $135,000 a month on clothes, education, which says tuition and living expenses, $60,000 a month. But I'm trying to figure out who's getting educated. Is the kids or is it her?
Right.
Kids are grown.
Yeah. 90. No. Oh, I'm sorry. 90. I was low. I was going low. $900,000 a month on entertainment.
What?
Yes. $100,000 on the mortgage a month, and $125,000 on charitable contributions, and $20,000 a month on cell phone, email, and telephone.
$20,000 on cell phones and email.
She clearly don't have the unlimited plan.
She don't.
Clearly,
is she like grandfathered in with the old plan?
That's crazy. Wow, yo. $2 million. That equates to $2 million a month.
Yes.
Yo, how's she entertaining with like $900,000? How much entertainment? But she wants $60,000 for tuition. How's she studying and entertaining that much? She can't do both.
They contradict each other.
It is not Dre Day. I can tell you that.
That is crazy.
I want to know how y'all feel about
that's what she's requesting. I mean, will she get that?
I mean, she's gonna get it.
But what I will say is that, and I had this convo with Zoe off mic yesterday. Dre is reportedly worth $1 billion, right?
So relative, I guess.
$1 billion. I remember somebody saying, like, if you threw $1 per second, of $1 billion, it would take you like 30 years to throw each dollar. And it's like, that's a lot of money. So in all reality, that $2 million could be interest on one of his investment properties, like collectively. So I don't know if that's actually true. I think to us, $2 million sounds like a lot per month.
To anybody, to a billionaire, $2 million a
To
month.
live?
Right.
Are you even doing anything? It's COVID.
plus-
How could you do that right now?
I'm not defending her.
Plus, it is like net worth is definitely different. I mean, one
You
of
have
his
to
investments
liquidate
go
everything.
bad, and his net worth drops by half, and that $2 million is stuck there. No
How far
matter
did
what, he has to pay.
how far did yours go up in the last month?
He like, I'm giving y'all the advice. Like, I gotta keep
This guy,
I'm telling you, that newsletter that James gets, like Millionaires Monthly, it has to be filled with gems.
Nah,
Has to be filled with
that's
gems.
just like net worth is it's everything. I mean, you know what I mean? You can consider your life insurance as part of your net worth. You know what I mean? If you have $1 million life insurance and your debt is only say $200,000 because you have a mortgage, right? You have a net worth of $800,000. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's relative. It depends on what he actually has that's liquid, the actual income that he's generating that comes in monthly.
Right.
I don't obviously know any of that, but $2 million is a lot, and then you're stuck with that if that's actually, if that goes through the court system. I'm sure it can be appealed if something happens, but in terms of like him losing part of his net worth, $2 million is a lot of money, and he already takes care of everything. Apparently, according to like reports, he takes care of all of the expenses. He pays for everything about the house, entertainment, all of that stuff. She doesn't have to worry about it.
Who's your source? The Shade Room?
The Shade Room, TMZ.
They
Baller Alert.
Baller Alert.
Which one? What's another one? Yeah, that's according to reports.
Angelique's rumor report. Yeah,
exactly. But they all seem to line up, so
yeah,
got to be some truth in there.
$2 million is a lot. It is a lot. And I mean, who are we to say if she deserves it or not? We just know.
I'm not saying she deserves. I'm not going that road.
I never said that. I'm just saying that's a lot.
The pricing a little egregious now. You like, let's not be penny wise and pound foolish. Like, you trying to get everything, and then you might. I don't know. That's the type of stuff where motherfucker, you do that, you're not getting nothing if he dies. Like, he writes you out the will.
Like, how your $2 million feel?
Eat that. Now it's gone. You're done. So I mean, I just thought that was crazy, but
yeah, I mean that's a good segue. Thanks for the Zonos. So we were having a bit of a conversation earlier about like relationships, and the question of the day was like getting credit for curving women, and I think that all leads to our grand topic of like monogamy and how I don't want to say taboo, but like I think monogamy in this generation, our generation, is like in jeopardy. I think everything about our generation is being deconstructed. Everything is being, measured under a microscope. What is this? What is that? For 4 married men, and I consider myself, I am monogamous as well. I wanted to know from y'all, like, is monogamy difficult to maintain? And obviously, for this conversation, let's reserve. Y'all are not. Let's talk about previous to marriage, because I don't want to put y'all in a difficult spot. Before marriage, how did you view monogamy?
I was always for polygamy.
I mean, I can speak from marriage point of view too. I mean, it's not hard at all.
But why?
Like, it really isn't.
Why do you think it's not hard? But why? Does anybody else agree that it's not hard?
No, I think it is. I think it is hard.
I think it's a challenge.
So for me, I don't think it's hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead, James.
So for me, I don't think it's hard. I think that I just know, for me personally, just know what I want, and I feel like if I do anything that's outside of what I'm supposed to be doing, I can jeopardize everything that I have with that. So understanding that, it's like, well, I'm not willing to risk that to lose it all, right? So just knowing that is like, okay, well,
it's just that simple.
Simple as that. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
My response is more generally for the general people. I think most people have a hard time accepting marriage because of the idea of monogamy, and not saying that like it's not. I think James made a good point. You just have to know yourself. You have to know yourself well enough to know what you value, what's important to you. You have to place value, I think, at a place that deserves a high value perspective. So, I mean, for people who kind of say that they don't want to get married, people who are apprehensive of getting married because of that idea, it's they haven't really found what they want, or they don't know what they really want yet, you know. And I think it's challenging because just the world we live in, right? Social media, all types of like dating scenes, all types of online dating. It's the world we live in today makes it harder to to be in that space. That's why I think it's challenging.
Yeah, I was gonna piggyback off of that. Like, yeah, like Kev said, it was not hard, but challenging is probably more accurate word because of the outside forces now that didn't exist previously. The access is too easy. It's easier to get to different people, different things, communicate. When before you had to go out your way. You see what I'm saying? Communication is literally like within 30, you could literally be talking greasy somewhere and be on the toilet. Like, you know what I'm saying, in your house. Like, you don't necessarily, you don't have to be out in front of the person's face in the grocery store. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I do in that aspect for the generals, like, okay. But also I think a lot of times for guys, it's the male ego. Like, the male ego is, like you said earlier, something about it never leaves you, or we just suppress it or something like that. Like something along those lines is like you always feel like you're in the game. It's an athlete's mentality of like a boxer that stayed too long in their career. You always your mind telling you could do it, but physically it's not a good idea.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I don't have a problem taking it to the next level. Before this, like in previous relationships, honestly, I cheated because I could. Monogamy probably would have been a better challenge for me had I wanted to stick to it, And I think that for me in my brain, it's as simple as like, hey, just don't do these things and it'll lead to, but I think maybe subconsciously I didn't want to be in that relationship anyway. So maybe subconsciously it was like, I'll do what I want. If I get caught, this is not in the front of my brain, it's in the back of my brain. If I get caught, then like, all right,
about the consequences.
Right. I'll deal with the consequences, but it's not like I'm doing much to prevent it from.
Well, that's what I was about to
happening.
say. You're not going out your way, but you're not preventing it either, is what I'm saying. So
it's
that's
like, it's like falling in your lap. And for me, I feel like in my early relationships, I know it was for me, it was like, I don't want to do that. Like, nah, I don't want to do that. But then, I don't know, in your 20s, you kind of find yourself being like, man, I'm going to do what I want. That was me. And I can't speak to say if I thought monogamy was difficult, but I knew that, like, I'll subscribe when I feel like it.
Or you wanted to be in the relationship, but you just didn't see the marriage thing, which, I mean, you're not married now. So that you obviously didn't see that with this individual. So your seriousness of discipline was like,
and y'all know me, y'all know me in terms of like, I choose people wisely. I'm putting that in quotes. And like, I didn't want to ever make the mistake of prematurely committing to something for the rest of my life, whether it's via child or via marriage, that I knew that I wasn't going to be like happy with in like 10 years, 15 years, at least that I can guess. But like, what about monogamy is like this hard concept to grasp?
I think the thing about monogamy that makes it difficult and what makes it hard to grasp is like you can't like just jump right into it if it's not what you're used to. Like if you're used to being single and just doing your own thing, you can't magically think that I'm in a committed relationship and I'm just going to be able to be with one person forever. Like you literally have to do work to train yourself to be monogamous. And I know that might sound silly to some, but like I think men can really understand that. Like, you gotta know.
Like most crackheads can't just go cold turkey.
Exactly. Like you gotta know places you can't go, things you can't watch.
Instagram is the block.
How much for one rib?
That's what makes it hard to grasp, though, man. It's like it seems too difficult if you try it cold turkey.
I like that point, man. I'm gonna also chime in and say I had a conversation with someone who most recently he said that he wanted to get married, but then he's also at the same line of saying that his next sentence was about, him about to go traveling with this other chick that he just met. You know what I mean?
I say I want to get married, but I'm a whore.
So
I'm a whore
like,
still.
Utah.
I'm still a whore.
Said, my man, listen.
Oh, that's
my man, listen.
My man,
what you just said.
Check this out.
Let me explain something to you. I said, before you decide that when you really are getting ready to go do that, you need to give yourself 3 months to 6 months of just really conditioning yourself for that moment. Because if you like how Cleveland put it, but I really told him like you gotta kind of like be married before you get married, 6 months before you get married, just to see. Because there's gonna be moments when you're with your wife and you're the only husband with all the friends, and you gotta have laser eye vision focus. Like you can't just be
literally.
Yo, sunshades on.
Yo, son.
You gotta have that kind of. You gotta have that discipline. You need that.
Look
kind of
straight.
discipline.
You gotta be online, yo. Look straight.
Yo, son. Training yourself, man. Y'all can understand. Training yourself to go from single to being in a relationship to not turn around and look at a butt behind you. It's like that is an intense amount of like. At first, he used to
you just do like James. James just talked to like James like, yo, he talks to his wife like, yo, you see that shit? That shit crazy.
I mean, you gotta do that. You gotta
that gets built in. That gets built in.
That takes time. That takes time.
Get your sneak peek.
Just look together.
Yeah, like, oh, ain't that crazy?
Look at them titties, babe. Look at them titties.
They fake.
You just look back, beforehand. And then, you already turned that way.
You gotta look at her direction. Babe, is that a Mazda?
Like this,
what's that?
Did you see the rims? Wow. I never saw that color before. Yo, you said look back first so that she in your eye, in your pathway. Like,
yeah.
But women know they know that they know all these secrets. They know
we see what we because they see what we see. Like, we just joking. But
my fault, Kev. Go back to talk about your friend that's trying to.
Yeah. Did you give him advice? Or you just told him like, yo, bro, chill?
I told him basically with that, just practice that discipline of being what that takes. Shoot your
free throws. Shoot your free throws.
Yeah, like when somebody walks by, when no one's around, don't turn around. Look. Like stuff like that, you gotta have to train yourself in the most, because there's gonna be things you really want to turn around and look at, but you gotta take that long. Just be like,
yo, that's a fact.
I hope somebody caught that for me. You know what I mean? And just keep
But you know what's ill? I honestly think that type of suppression in a relationship, marriage or not, is damaging. Like, I think we should normalize being able to look at the opposite sex to say that they are attractive. Because I think, like, I'm not in this space yet, but I think that if my wife in the future is like, she has a crush on a guy that's famous, that's on TV, it's like, all right, that's fine.
Difference.
Like,
oh, that's nothing.
There, brother.
Right.
It's different when somebody walking down the street and she like, oh, he's fine.
Because now you can attack, you can touch that person. That's TV is not the same as John the mechanic. That's not the same.
John the mechanic come down and beat it down. He down the street.
That ain't it. That ain't it.
You can replace that catalytic converter.
Yeah, man. That's
celebrity
is one.
Go ahead, Kev.
I was gonna say I want to say that I'm probably in my mind the most relaxed person when it comes to like those things, because I think everyone is human. Everyone's entitled to like having their own feelings and things of the nature of that. But I remember one time we was on a trip, went to Cuba, and a couple of family cousins, a couple trip, whatever, and we were dancing. Went out dancing one night, and one particular person was dancing. It was a guy dancing with this couple. And my wife now, but she was at the time, was like in awe over this dude that was dancing. And I don't think she heard me. I don't think she's heard herself say it, but she said something about, I want to dance with him. Like It fucked me
You
up.
wanna
I'm
what?
like,
You wanna what?
I said, what you just say?
I'm
Like,
me.
you know,
I'm me.
yeah,
What
like,
you mean?
you know, it was a moment like that. But you know, you're right. Y'all all right. I think first of all, it's just a look.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna give y'all a little gem. You look at the ugly ones. Like, make that a thing. Like this way. Don't just look at the bad one. You gotta look at the whole thing so you can. So it's not a big deal.
Oh
It's
my
like
God.
Everybody get it. Everybody get these
Same
eyes.
attention.
He
Same
just
attention
made
level.
looking at women trail mix. How did
Yo.
we do that?
No, that's equal opportunity. Kev, you know what? Kev be living his lyrics. He be living his lyrics.
He does. He only writes them after he did it already.
Yo, one question. Kev's dance story made me think like, all right, you know how some people have this uncontrollable, like they just speak from their mind and you can't really pinpoint it.
Mhm.
What if you was with your lady, married or not? You can use how you were before marriage or after. What if y'all was together and she was like, oh my God, like under her breath when somebody walks by.
That's bruh. That was what I lived. I mean, I
Nope.
said it and how I said it, but it was felt like that. I was
like, oh my God.
I'll drop you off right here.
I carried
Get
that
out.
energy.
Right?
I carried that energy back to the crib.
Right.
She didn't know. She didn't know. But I you know, so my back turned over to that night. Like it was like that's your space. This is my space. Type of vibe. Like
Nah,
I was in my feelings.
bro.
I was in my
Oh
feelings.
no, I'm not. I use that energy as fuel. Like, you know what I have to do today now, right?
But hold on.
You know what has to happen.
But hold on, so I think that I don't know. I think all of us have done this. I don't know what y'all are like when y'all in your homes, but like, well, I ask this question: have you ever channeled outside energy in the crib to make sure that you was like, let me get this out?
Absolutely.
Like,
You have to. I mean, that's kind of positive. That's positive. Using the fuel, like I mean, something else motivated you, but you know, you now direct the energy.
You're not listening to the Juxtaposition.
You're now tuned in. You're now tuned in to where you're supposed to be.
I'm trying to figure out where, like, what type of energy are you referring to? Is this anything you can think of?
Talk about knocking a frame down, built like.
No, I know that.
But you saw something else somewhere else. You saw something else somewhere else, or whatever, and you're like, yeah.
Or somebody approached you and just like, so I think that I speak for myself. Like, there's energy that, like, let's say that one of the girls that shot they shot, you liked her energy, like, but you just like, this is not going to happen. But like, I like what you.
That was cool.
You got my mind going, right? It's like, so now what I'm going to use that to give to my lady. I'm not thinking about this girl, but she inspired something for me to come home. This even happens like if you see your boy doing something romantic for his wife or his girl, you're like, that sparks an idea. This idea just happens to be more physical.
Yeah, that's true, because I definitely bought some candles too, Var, since I first met.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
I thought you were talking about like something where it's like your girl seeing somebody and kind of like making a comment, not knowing she's making a comment, like, all right, now I got to prove, I got to make a point.
Well, that's what I was saying.
That's what I thought you meant. I'm like, oh, I get that part.
Yeah, I ain't playing.
James got me. Zoe got to send her a reminder. Like, this is your address. You live here. Cleveland, you've been noticeably absent. Are you here this episode?
I have not been absent, man. I've been chiming in.
I want to hear the Prince of Praise's perspective.
Man, like, so I don't really utilize like outside energy in terms of like being pursued by someone to like spark anything within my household. But it's different for me though, in a sense, because like most times I'm oblivious to like a gesture of like coming on to me. Like, I'm oblivious to it.
Go ahead and be that pastor, see what happens.
But here's the thing, unless but I've had moments where it's just been like explicit, where like I couldn't be oblivious to it. You know what I'm saying? Like the little flirtatious things, I don't really catch it. I just laugh it off or whatever.
I used to say that I was oblivious too, but I wasn't.
But you wasn't. I really I don't even know until like somebody tells me like, oh man, she was. I'm like, I ain't even noticed that. But in terms of like bringing that energy home or seeing my wife look at somebody that she's attracted to and utilizing that, yeah, sometimes you gotta let her know like, wait a minute, like I'm who you married.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute.
I'm
Let's not
me.
get carried away.
Who's
I'm
the
me.
boss?
Right.
You got to do a few more push-ups at the crib, like just to make sure that you know.
Oh, absolutely. That's when I get dressed up for no reason. We can't go nowhere, but we'll get a shape up and just sit on the couch.
Why you got a tie on? got a tie with drawers on.
Tube socks, boy.
I mean, I think, how have you seen yourselves evolve from what you thought monogamy was in like your early 20s to what it is now?
Man, I think
I'm married.
like you gotta realize that like your glory days are not behind you. Like that's the mindset I had to switch.
Okay.
Like you think about all the fun that you used to have or whatever, people that you used to be with, and you think of that as the glory days, but your glory days can be with your significant other, with your wife.
Okay.
Like you could have like those great moments and those great experiences, you know, even sexually, because you know we sexual beings, like with your wife. It doesn't have to be relived with like stepping outside of your marriage.
You don't gotta be. You don't gotta relive those moments with Stacy, even though Stacy was the one who did it for you. I don't know Stacy either.
Yeah, that's funny. I really don't. I don't think I know.
I live vicariously. At this point in my life, I just live vicariously through my single friends. Like I listen to their stories and I get energized by their life now. Like it's kind of like, oh, I remember them days type of vibe. You know what
You're like looking out the window, like, damn, it was fun out there. I'm cool. The house is cool.
Yeah,
it was fun out there.
I was saying the other day, I actually enjoy being married. I know I'm relatively 6 months in, but I feel like I've been married forever, to be honest with you. Like, this is kind of how we've been flowing. But I enjoy it. I actually enjoy our relationship. I enjoy our friendship. I enjoy what comes of it. I enjoy not having to, like, date. I don't miss dating at all, bro.
Oh, yeah,
Yo, son, there's a headache, son. It's headaches.
I'm not built for that no more.
So I kind of like, I don't know. I'm in a good space with it, like, honestly. Like, and most of my friends are married, so it's kind of just cool just to be able to, like, kind of live like that. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate, like, you asked a question looking back for it now. Before, I've never seen myself wanting to be settled with one person. I never thought it was possible. Obviously, until I met her, but it's a thing, like Cleveland said, your relationship has to grow. You're with yourself. Like you have to invite your new being into the relationship, you know, and I think people are afraid to like introduce themselves into that because then they feel like they have to experience themselves with somebody else because of the idea that this person may not be accustomed to this new person that I've been giving her, right?
Yeah, son. I think to Kev's point, I just want to interject here because I think you introduced something fire. There's definitely an old you and a new you component when you're dating, right? I think some of us identify the old us as when we were single, and I think the new you is like you haven't made the transition. But sometimes I've experienced, I'm not married. The old you is like you have to like not keep him at bay, but you have to like heal through that journey. Like you've went through all those things not to experience these women, but to experiences for yourself to kind of be better.
Situations, what you like, what you don't like, things of that nature to cultivate you. But that reminds me of like, so when we are now the NBA on TNT show, like we are retired athletes that I'm Charles, like we could talk smack, we've done it, we've lived it. Kev, like he said, we like you live vicariously through watching the game, you know what I'm saying, watching the plays, good plays, this, that, and third. So it's a similar like kind of mindset where, you know, we're just commentators of the single life at this point.
Right. That's a great analogy.
And James kind of hit it on the head too, because he said something about not wanting to lose what you have, right? And I think once you get to this space, you invest all your emotional energy into this idea, this concept, and watch it kind of get wasted or go away because of like a small disciplinary event. It kind of be like a low blow,
stupid. Like between what Kev was saying just now and what James said earlier, I think at this point in my life now, I would be a complete idiot. Because I think something that Cleveland said earlier is that, like, not that you just know, but you know, right? You know when the shift gears, and it's like, oh, okay, we in pocket. This feels good. Like everything shifts, everything changes. The type of shit that make you want to propose on a gondola in Venice. You know what I mean? It's like that type of vibe. And I think that, and I think to Kev's point earlier, I think I'll speak for us now before we talk about everybody else. I think that we have a luxury in terms of like, we're going upward as far as, you know, careers and things. So like we could probably buy more time in order to determine who's the right fit for us while we're going up. And I think that that's a luxury that a lot of people don't have. And, you know, James and Zoe kind of got married early, but y'all, the relationship that y'all established with your wives matched who you were then and who you are now. You know what I mean? And I think that's, I say it all the time, finding a match that you want to marry is not something that happens every day. People may get married every day.
Yeah, but damn, I mean, they're supposed to.
Right.
Well, like James said, he was with his wife for 6-7 years before he proposed. I proposed a year and some change in. So it's like the timing for me, like I knew like, if I wait, it was one for my mind. It's like, if I wait, I'm going to not see this type of person again. I felt like I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna live without what
these
if
these J's about to be sold out.
Yeah, and I'm never gonna get them. They're not even gonna get re-released. Like these the one pack that's not getting re-released. So that's how
no stock X.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I kind of had to nab because I don't see the it's like a Lego piece that like they're kind of went together.
Oh,
so it's like,
do you tell her that every week?
No,
He said,
I tell her she get on my damn nerves.
No, tell your wife that she's your Lego piece.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, so
you know what you said, Var, that was interesting when you mentioned how you heal through your journey. I also think too, one thing I do notice that the same kind of energy I had when I was single is the same kind of energy I have as a husband. Like,
oh, talk about it.
Like every day I try to love her differently because I think honestly, like we get caught up in what's comfortable. Not necessarily comfortable. We get caught up in what works, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, like people like, I'm around the family, they start asking about kids now and all the things of the nature that I think my response is one day at a time. Like let's love one day at a time. I don't want to get too far ahead or I want to think about yesterday too much. So like I really try to love every day differently, like as best as I can. Like what can I do today that may have not worked yesterday, or what did you like yesterday that you want to see happen today? And I think it's kind of like, I guess my point is that I try to relive myself into my new self. Like, like
that's fire.
Energy. I kind of like just be a dope dad, be a dope husband. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like just as you were as a dope college kid, whatever it was, just be transitioned. The title changes, but the energy should be the same. If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
It makes perfect sense. It's like, if you were that guy at a certain point in time, and like your wife don't see that, you have to continue to be that guy. Like you have to make sure that you show up as if you were dating, is what I would imagine. Like that type of energy, you kind of have to keep it going. I don't know that.
That brings up like what it was an old, I always reference my guy Chris Rock a lot because he be saying some crazy funny stuff. But there was a clip from, I think it was the one of the Bigger and Blacker, I think it was, where he said, "You either married and bored or single and lonely." And it's like, and I think the married and bored part is the part where Kev is saying like you can't just be comfortable, just try to treat it as if it's brand new all the time. So that's one of the things that I agree with Kev on that. Like you have to like be proactive.
Mm-hmm.
You have to actively seek it. Like don't just chill just because you're there now. Like that requires work too. And I think that's what it is. We get bored, and then that's where the original topic comes into play of monogamy, because you're bored and you think that there can be no fun with what is here because you're bored. But then like Cleveland said, you can have those same fun experiences where you're at. You just have to figure it out, do the work, see what it is that you need to do. So
Exactly.
I think it's a combination of both, but that's where that comes, because you think you're bored and you're like, well, that looks fun over there, or the new shiny toy.
I got a question for Cleveland.
What's up?
Now, how would you describe the power of sex in a relationship? Like, how would you offer to use it?
Wait, what?
How would you prescribe intimacy
Oh,
in a marriage relationship? Like, how would you prescribe the use of it, rather, or the benefits of it, and how can that intimacy, and talk about the benefits, if you can help me just kind of
Yeah.
describe a little bit, highlight the benefits for me.
So
Preach.
like sex is a physical
weapon.
act,
It's
an
a
emotional-
weapon. I'm
It
sorry.
can be, but it's a physical act, it's an emotional act, and it's definitely a spiritual act as well. And within the confines of marriage specifically, man, you can have as much of it as you like in whatever way that you like. The Bible describes the bedroom as being undefiled, meaning you can do what you want with your wife within the confines of your relationship.
Let me write
And
that down.
it's God, write that down. And it's God that made sex feel good. You know what I mean? A lot of like Christian,
And I make love good.
a lot of traditional Christians
Jam.
look at sex like what do you want to call it? Like procreate. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's work.
Yeah, but like it's not that, man, because if it was just that, then God wouldn't have made it feel good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so sex, the physical part of sex feels good, but it also comes with an emotional part, and it also comes with the spiritual part. But when all of that is connected, that's what like builds the sex to make it better over time. Like almost like, have you ever had like sex with
Ice
your wife,
cream?
like you want it, but she didn't like she wasn't really with it, but she just was like, all right, whatever, I'll give you some. It ain't
yes.
like
I'll give you
the
some.
best, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you feel like you got yours off.
That's called charity.
yeah.
Some
No,
charity
but like
box.
when it's all aligned, it's better. So yeah, man, I think use it as a tool in marriage, man. Have fun with it.
Sure.
Okay. I know that we can like talk about this like forever.
We can.
Forever. So can we go around and give these young fellas or these old heads any kind of lasting like an actionable item as to like how to transition the mindset of monogamy being boring to monogamy being something that's sustainable and fruitful for your relationship?
I'll start, and I'll actually bring up something that Cleveland had mentioned a few episodes ago. It's about being intentional. So be intentional with who you're looking for and what you want in a relationship, because if you are and you find that person, then it won't be bored because you know what you want. You found what you were looking for, and monogamy becomes easy at that point. And then, as I mentioned, you don't want to lose that. You found something, you worked it up, you built up everything that you can, and that's what you wanted. So, stepping outside, you're going to ruin all of that. So it should become that easy. This is not something I want to ruin. This is something that I want. So if I know I want this, this is what I have to do. And it becomes that simple.
Yeah, man. To follow up with what James was saying, I think in terms of remaining monogamous, there's a quote that says, affection follows attention, meaning whatever you pay attention to, you become more affectionate towards that thing and you desire that thing more and more. So if you want to build upon being faithful in your relationship, you have to focus on your relationship, plant the necessary seeds in your relationship for whatever it is to become better. But if you pay attention to other stuff all the time, you know what I mean, constantly scrolling Instagram and looking at the Instagram models and things of that nature, then you're building affection towards that area. So focus on your marriage. I mean, focus on monogamy within your relationship and it'll grow and it'll get better and it'll be easier.
You should go last all the time. Shut up.
I know ain't nobody trying to follow that.
That's why I go first. I don't want to
James jump right in like, nah, bro, you ain't getting me like that. I'm about to hit it with a what he said.
It was all good.
Damn.
Go ahead, Zoe.
Well, nah, I kind of agree with that. And also, I can't remember the words, but Cleveland said something in relation to work. What was it? Like, I guess being important or being a part of something, feeling important. Like, kind of what you guys are saying is like, if you put that work. And the work shouldn't be work. You shouldn't look at it as like hard work in a bad way. Like it's something you should love to do. Like it should almost be like a hobby. Like it should still be fun. You should still get your time, go out, do whatever it is. I always say this, before you quit on anything, like me personally, I just say I tried every last. You know what I mean, I try everything first.
Exhaust all options.
Yeah, I can't leave, and then you walk into somebody like, yo, but did you do this? And you're like, damn, I ain't try that or this. Usually, if somebody tell me something, I'm like, yeah, I did that. Did that. I can show you date, time, did that. So then that's when you should feel like, all right. At that point, you gotta make a decision. You shouldn't stay either if you're gonna just continuously do foul things. But I think you can have fun and remember what got you there. I think that's really for me. We forget, like, yo, how did we get here? How did I get to this place? You know what I mean? You like that person at one point for what? So try to go, you can't go backwards, but like relive or create a newer version of you and them in like doing what y'all did to get started to begin with.
Makes sense. How about you, Kev?
I mean, I kind of want to highlight a few things just quickly, but one thing is that I'm gonna dive back into our culture a little bit. You know, we like, as you guys mentioned earlier, we were behind the 8 ball, but with assets to allow us to feel financially stable to marry. Maybe it's because we're worried about 5 different people that we're paying for or taking care of, and we're never able to reach our financial goals because our lifestyle is not allowing us to do so. I'm not saying if you are able to, that's great. But if you're not financially able to, I would say it's probably cheaper to date one person.
It's cheaper to keep it. It's cheaper to keep.
You know, I'm just saying dating, definitely to keep, because we know a couple people, and as you mentioned,
Dr. Dre.
Got some, yeah. So
cost you $2 million.
But then my thing is that we want to be able to uplift our community, and I always take it back to that because there's so much going on in the world that we gotta be conscious of our actions and what we're doing, who's watching us. And when you got young boys watching you, you know, bringing in multiple women in the house, and that's your son,
right?
He's gonna grow up to do the same thing. And I'm not speaking for everybody's relationship. I'm not talking for anybody's relationship. I'm just saying that, you know, like, understand like what we're going through and understand how we can reverse our own issues if we are paying attention, if we're conscious on it. So if you're married and you have kids, think about your kids, you know, think about what they're going to see when they grow up, think about the stories that they're going to tell, you know, when they get older. And then you got to think about the safety aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just a thing of security. And this is going to sound a little foreign to some people, but for the real ones, they know, you know, when you've been handling business and you're loyal, you get leverage, you get privilege as a man. I mean, you can get around and saying certain things and doing certain things because of who you are. Like, once you get caught and do something wild, all that privilege gets lost, bro. You don't get that same, you don't have that same voice, you know, and you don't have that. So if you care about anything, care about, you know, your impact, your influence, your power that you have in your own household, and that's what you lose. You don't lose. You don't just lose, you know, the little bit of untrustworthiness or a little bit of insecurity. You lose everything, bro. You lose your leverage, your power, you lose your voice. And if that matters to you, then put that on the forefront.
I like that, Kevin. And something I always say is like, trust in any regard is like insurance. Like, you pay for insurance every month, but not to say that you are going to use it. But if there is an accident, if there is an issue, that trust that you've built up over all those years, that insurance you've been paying for should take care of the indiscretion. Will it be over? Will your insurance bill go up? For damn sure it will. But at the same time, you are covered. And if you kind of trusted that mechanism built over time. The actionable items I have are more along the lines of men who are not quite married yet and may be struggling with what it means to be monogamous. I'll say what worked for me is recognize the signs, which is 1. Recognize how you're moving, and also recognize when somebody enters your life where you got to straighten up, like, oh, nah, this is different. You know, you should always have your antennas up looking for that Lego piece, like Zoe said. Like, what is the other piece that complements you? And I'll leave us on this final note. Have a whole phase. Like, have one. Know that it's a whole phase. Know that it's not your life. Like if you know that like I'm a good dude, but I'm out here moving funny. I'm moving like I can't stick with one person. Now not the time for you. You're still in your whole phase. All men don't grow out of your whole phase. But what I'm saying is, when you get to the point where you want to be monogamous, you need to recognize when that phase has ended. Like, you can't stay there forever. It's like in the zone. Like when you play basketball, you're a shooter. You may hit every 3-pointer from the first to second quarter, but that third quarter is gonna catch up to you, bro. Like you're not gonna make all your shots. You gotta understand that like this is the zone that I'm in, and that zone may last a couple years, but it's not a zone that you stay in for the rest of in perpetuity. It's not something that you stay in there. But with that being said, we're going to pass it over to Cleveland for the motivational moment for this week.
Thanks, bro. So for today's motivational moment, I want to talk about the concept of real versus fake. We live in a time where it's hard to distinguish what's real versus what's fake, real news versus fake news, what's real on Instagram versus what's fake on Instagram. Now, real versus fake in the context of what we're speaking about today, something that is real is something that will last, something that has value over time, something that's sustainable, something that will grow. Something that's fake is something that won't last, something that will not have value over time, something that is not sustainable. Now, a lot of times we remember our past experiences, maybe on our single days where we were living the life. We think about that as the good old days. We remember a moment and we remember a feeling that we had during those moments, and then we find ourselves wanting to relive those experiences. The issue is we're remembering something. That word remember literally means to put back together. So we're putting back together a thought, an idea, a memory, and the feelings that we had during those times. But what we're leaving out is the experiences that were associated with that. We're leaving out the times where we sat alone in our bedrooms without anyone to talk to, feeling like we had no one to genuinely connect with. We forget about the times where we went somewhere and spent money that we did not have, to go somewhere where we did not need to be, to buy clothes that we did not need, to impress people who really did not care. So we have an incomplete and inaccurate representation of things that have happened in the past. So therefore, it's not a real memory, it's fake. So what's real is when you found someone that you can pour into, when you found someone that pours into you, when you found someone that you can confide in, and when you found someone who can confide in you. That's when you have something real. And my encouragement to you all this week, and my encouragement to you all today, is make sure you're taking the time to distinguish what's real versus what's fake. Those memories that you have don't need to be relived. Your better days are in front of you with the person that you have found, that right person that you have found. My encouragement is to always evaluate what's real versus what's fake, because what's real is always going to be valuable, more valuable than what's fake.
All right. Thank you, Cleveland. Appreciate that. Feel inspired.
James Passaic.
James, we missed you last week. We didn't have no window of opportunity. We didn't have no Passaic picks.
Sorry about that.
No problem. You want to tell everybody? Never mind. We don't got to go there. So I'm gonna give the ball to James so we can give us some. Let us know about our window of opportunity.
Okay, so going into a stock pick for the week. This week, I'm going to talk a little bit about Etsy. So Etsy is, obviously the online company that allows individuals to make personalized items and sell them on their website. And then Etsy would ultimately get a portion of whatever the sales are, and that's kind of how they build their revenue. So the reason why I think Etsy is a pretty good stock pick right now is based upon the numbers. So I always try to look at the data and make decisions from that. So for the second quarter, Etsy increased their revenue 137% in the second quarter to about $429 million. The marketplace revenue grew about 146%, and the service revenue grew about 110% in the second quarter, year over year. So those are pretty good numbers when you talk about just revenue in general, right? Companies need revenue to show their growth, to utilize those funds to pay bills, to pay shareholders, to grow the company, things like that. So you have to start with revenue, and they're doing pretty good there. Of course, some of their growth have significantly been accelerated because of COVID. People aren't going out and buying things in stores, so they're going online and having things made that way. But still, it's a good thing because their growth actually was consistent prior to COVID. So this just accelerated a little bit more. but they show great growth prior to COVID happening. Some other numbers that we looked at, when you look at their active buyers online, so that grew 41% year over year, which is a great thing. You want to see active people on their site buying things, and the more active buyers they have, the more revenue that they're going to generate. Mm-hmm. Lastly, in terms of good things, their profitability. So when we look at gross margins, their gross margins increased from 67.6% in the second quarter of last year to 74% in 2020. So you always want to look at year-over-year growth, right, from the same time frame from the year before. That's going to show you how they're growing, and you're comparing apples to apples at that point in time. Also, a good thing is their operating expenses dropped year over year from 57.8% to 46.2%. So they had great growth, and they were able to decrease their basically the amount of money that they had to pay out in terms of their expenses. So that ultimately helps their net income. When you have more revenue, less expensive, your net income is going to increase. But a number that I like to look at is called EBITDA, or your earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, and then also their cash flow based upon that EBITDA. So Etsy had pretty good cash flow going into the second quarter. And what cash flow allows a company to do, or free cash flow, I should say, what that allows a company to do is multiple things. So they can either buy back shares, which helps shareholders to increase the value of the company. They can use that money to pay off interest or debt. They can use that money to grow the company. They can use free cash flows for a multitude of things. So the more free cash flow that a company has, the more options they have, which is going to increase the valuation of the company and ultimately increase the share price of that company. So that's why with Etsy, I believe they had about 220 million in free cash flows for the second quarter. So it gives them a lot of options to do with that funds. Excuse me. Now, of course, there's obviously going to be some downside or risk that's going to be involved with this. So when you look at COVID, that's a strong indicator that why they're doing really well. So you might see some decline in growth in terms of next year. But I believe because that they were able to perform well before COVID, and COVID just helped accelerate them, I think customers are actually going to continue to utilize their service, because once you start growing and liking something, you kind of start sticking with that. And we know that COVID is going to change things moving forward. So this might become the new norm. But nonetheless, this is a company that you still want to look at. You don't want to just buy shares of it and just let it be. So when third quarters numbers are released, look at them. But it's good to have it now, because I do believe when the third quarter number releases, they're going to show great growth again. And that's only going to accelerate their stock price, which you can benefit from if you buy now. Again, that's the Windows of Opportunity or Passaic picks for this week, and Etsy, and their ticker is just Etsy, ETSY.
First of all, shout out to you for embracing your name. That's growth. Appreciate that. But no, I'm gonna look into Etsy. Yeah, I should have added this in my my joint for the week, but damn, we didn't talk about it last week. I actually got in on Apple when the stock split, so I'm hold that and see how that goes. Try to throw some more at it whenever I get.
Buy one stock at a time, because obviously it's a couple $100, or now it's $100-something.
Small thing to a giant.
Buy a
though,
stock
like
or two. Yeah, okay.
Small
stock
thing
or
to
two,
a giant.
right? Hey, every time you get paid, I try to tell people, every time you get paid, just buy something. Take whatever it is that you want to buy, a couple $200, and buy something and hold it, and just keep building on that. And just diversify what you're buying. Don't have Apple, right? Make sure you don't have, because Apple's not going to always perform great. You're going to see losses, but you want to have something else that's going to balance that out.
I mean, yes, I agree. I agree.
That's good advice.
So now we're going to go over to Zoe, and they're going to wrap us up with the Serenity Prayer.
Yes, I'm glad. This has been a great week for all of us. Glad everyone's doing well. Definitely want to shout out to everybody for the holidays. Again, happy birthday, Var. So, as we move forward into this next week of the unknown, we want to say, God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two.
Amen.
All right. Amen. And that was our episode for this week. So talk to y'all next week.
All right.
Peace.